financial problems, elder law, tax problems, business matters, divorce, personal injury, bankruptcy, your life, your reality. Life is complicated. There is the law and there is reality. Welcome to Law and Reality, sponsored by Thav Gross. Now here's your host, Ken Gross.
Good morning. Welcome to Law and Reality. Saturday morning. It is nice and ready to rock and roll here today. David Einstein, my co-host. I see you're over there on my right.
Politically?
Well, I don't know. You're middle of the road politically. What would you say, right or left? Middle?
I'm probably
Centrist?
middle of the road, but it depends on the candidate and the issue, what it means to me and the community. How are you, Ken? Good morning.
I'm good, thank you. Brian Small, nice to see you with us again.
Good morning, Ken.
Are you right or left, Brian?
I'm middle of the road. I tend to be socially a social
Inept?
democrat.
I mean, socially
thank you very much. Social democrat, but I'm more conservative.
So it's fair to
economically.
say you go both ways.
Well, that's an open question.
We covered it there. There we go. Starting off normal. I've got a special guest with us today, Ed Sarpolis. Welcome back to the show, Ed.
Good morning. Good to see you again.
We're talking politics this morning because we have an election coming up, in a national election, Michigan election. So I invited Ed back to the show. He's with Target,
Local slots, too.
local slots with Target Insight to walk us through some of the election news that's going on. Ed's one of the premier pollsters in the Michigan market. So in the first two segments of the show today, we're going to talk about the election and what's going on. And then when we get to the third segment, which on the TV version airs in a couple weeks, we're going to talk about shopping because we're moving into the holiday season. All right, so the realism of the day, which doesn't have to be a word anymore. It can be a statement. It can be an expression. Because we used to do the word of the day when it was the Financial Crisis Talk Center. But now that it's Law and Reality, we do the realism of the day. The realism today is we rarely know who we're voting for.
Ain't that the truth?
In a couple respects, I would say the candidates that we actually hear of and we are going in there to vote for, do we really know them? But Ed, talk a little bit about practically ballot fatigue. And what that means, because that's also the other half of it.
Well, what's a mystery about ballot fatigue, we already know that upwards to 10% of the voters will vote for governor and skip the U.S. Senate portion of the race. And up to half the voters will skip the nonpartisan part of the ballot, which is the judicial part of the race, which actually impacts our lives much more sometimes than the elected officials.
All right, so we have a terminology. It seems as though you pirated the outline from me and you injected a term that I don't even have on the outline of ballot fatigue.
Oh, Rain
David.
Man wants to follow the outline.
It seems as though you've done that. So
What time is Wapner, Dave?
ballot fatigue would be defined as you exhaust yourself while you're doing the ballot and you give up and you don't even vote for a whole bunch of spots so that our audience knows what we're talking about here.
Well, that's the reason why you still have the straight party voting. A lot of people go in, they plunk Democrat or Republican. They don't realize they skip the nonpartisan part of the ballot or the ballot proposal. But they do that.
Don't you think that people skip it for a good reason? They don't know anything about the candidate, and why would you pick a name? You feel, and when you're in there in the ballot and you're looking at the ballot and you go, "Okay, I'm down to."
If you come
these
across
people,
a Kennedy or
I
a Brennan or an O'Brien, I mean. They're judges. They're politicians. You might as well vote for
but
them.
what I'm saying is isn't it possibly a smarter decision if you haven't educated yourself on who those first-tier candidates, the judges and the water commissioner and the dog catcher, why vote for a name? Because you like it? That doesn't put anybody
you're
in
mixing up
office
the
that you-
partisan.
Well, I would agree with you from the standpoint if things didn't matter. But the point being is if you don't at least force the candidate or the parties the next time around educate who you are, then I can control the election. Okay. Many years ago, on Justice of the Supreme Court, the incumbent allows to put Justice of the Supreme Court under their name when they're on the ballot. because that increases people voting for them to secure their longevity on the bench.
Yeah, I always said if I was going to run for political office, I'd change my last name to Kennedy.
Incumbent.
Well, incumbent
To
would even be
incumbent, that'd be
better.
good.
Incumbent would be better,
But,
but
Ken, to
but
answer
wait.
your question though, ballot fatigue is basically
covered
you're looking at the ballot and you just totally not even fill in certain sections. Usually it's lower on down.
You get exhausted and you abandon.
or you ban because one, you don't know what you. There's so many things. For example, that happened 2 years ago in
There's a
2012.
famous movie, and I can't remember what it was, but in the movie, the actor says, "I find myself in a place where I've never been before, so I don't know where to go from here."
It's Alice in Wonderland.
No, I don't know.
No.
It goes to that effect, and that thought came across to me when Brian.
Sounds like a Richard Gere movie.
When Brian was, yes, I think you're right. When Brian was making that statement, because I tend to agree with what you said, Brian. If you don't know who you're voting for, why vote? I understand the partisan side of the whole thing, but I just had that.
Well, they give very
I've never
quick-
been in that situation where you said something right out, Brian, and it just rang true to me, and I felt like, wow, I'm agreeing with Brian.
Can we leave now?
We can leave. No, you can't. Well, the
Oh.
first of all, you're talking to Joshua right now with the candidates running for Supreme Court justice. At least 45% of the people have no knowledge who these people are. I mean, they tell me that. Okay, and some of the races, 60% of people don't know the names of the judicial candidates, and that's the reason why come November first week, the first full Tuesday, about 1 million voters will skip voting for judicial.
What percent of the
candidates.
people know the Wayne State trustees?
Nobody.
Probably 20%.
20?
Oh, no way.
No.
They'll recognize the names. 'Cause they're all-
Nah, I don't know. Yeah, if you see a few signs.
Yeah.
Here's what I want to talk. I want to go over the Michigan Supreme Court candidates because that's one where it's extremely important to our future, and people don't know who the judges are. So I went and dug through their profiles last night and putting it to the outline. But before we do that, we're starting a little new gig on the show because
gig?
Yeah, a gig.
Like a
And
gigabyte?
the gig is we're going to always have in each segment a financial crisis talk center update. And Brian is going to be the lead on this, I hope. And after this week, he's going to bring to us what the update is after having done his homework and deciding what it is he wants to put out there.
So he's the lead gigger?
So for our
What's
first
the gig?
What's our financial crisis update of the segment, Brian? Now this is not to take over the show. This is you got 1 minute to give us this update.
Well, we're going to talk about unsecured loans and why they're attractive for people with good credit. That's what we're going to talk about.
Well, we're not going to talk about it. You're going to give us the update.
All right, so we'll
you've
give you
got
the
1
update.
minute to
Thank
All right,
you,
all right.
Brian. That was wonderful.
Do you want me to
That's-
show you how to do it? So in the next segment,
no,
you have
I
it
got
down
it
pat.
covered.
I'm happy. Well, I'm happy to.
I actually thought we were going to a break, so I
Wait,
thought
we
I heard
Oh,
the
and
music.
I just want to know
Please go.
why the element that created the big fiscal crisis in 2007.
See, I knew that we were going to a break.
And now there goes the update from Brian.
When we
because
come
he's
back
gonna
from the
listen to
break,
them.
we
went
can
real
talk
well.
all about it.
When we come back from the break, there was an article in the Wall Street Journal that says unsecured loans are up, and Brian's going to give us the quick 30-second update when we're back as to whether this is good or whether this is bad. We'll be back after the break.
If you're retired and in a financial crisis, there is a way out.
It pains me when I see a retired couple exhaust their savings by paying credit card bills and for a home hopelessly underwater.
Thav Gross specializes in helping retired people in financial crisis.
You just can't keep paying until you're broke. You need to address the problem now.
888-235-HELP. That's 888-235-HELP.
We're Thav Gross. Our firm will solve your problem.
You like your job. What you don't like is the way your boss has been treating you. He's making comments about how you look instead of your work, and he's been touching you inappropriately. If you complain, is he allowed to fire you? Absolutely not. Unwelcome sexual comments, advances, and contact are illegal in the workplace. Make him pay. Gold Star Law is here to help you through your employment law problem, whatever it is.
Gold Star Law, protecting employees' rights. Call 1-800-WAGES-10 for a free consultation today.
Carrying too much debt? Resolve your debt. Call Thav Gross.
You don't need to be broke, and you don't need to hit rock bottom. If you have income and you're struggling with debt, dump it. Think about the next 10 or 20 years. If you do what the banks tell you, you'll have nothing to retire with. There is a solution.
Don't waste your future. Call Thav Gross. We're experts at eliminating credit card debt. 888-235-HELP. That's 888-235-HELP.
Every family has the family meeting, and we all know what that means. Dad's got dementia. what are we going to do? What's the care plan that the family has in place? Usually they don't, or they struggle with a care plan. When you go home tonight and you talk to your tax person and you talk to your financial person, say, what's the plan that you have in place? And as soon as they don't give you an answer, give me a call, because I can do it for you.
Tax problems are major problems. Don't let the IRS levy your wages and seize your assets. There is a solution.
Worth Ave Gross, our firm will solve your problem.
If you're behind on your taxes and owe money to the IRS, call Thav Gross.
We've been solving tax problems for 32 years. We stop wage levies, resolve unfiled returns, and obtain the best possible settlements.
Call Thav Gross today, 888-235-HELP.
Welcome back. All right, now, as we were coming to the break, Brian Small was going to give us the Financial Crisis Talk Center update of the segment. Brian.
Well, interesting article as we were talking in the Wall Street Journal that talks about personal loans being available to the individual on a greater stead at this point. And in fact, it says that lenders originated $34.5 billion worth of personal loans during the first 6 months of the year, which is up 8.7%. What I find this to be really interesting is that we've always talked about how in order to promote the economy and grow jobs and promote small business, you need to have the ability to borrow money. If you can borrow money and not have to put your house up as collateral or don't have any equity in your house as collateral, now the banks are starting to loosen their grip on the lending, which makes dollars available to small business. Small business runs the world.
Right. The only thing that I picked up on the article that didn't exactly excite me is they're promoting in this article the notion of take out an unsecured loan at up to 10, 12% to take out your 20% credit card debt. I don't think that that's necessarily the smart solution to getting rid of $30,000, $40,000 of existing credit card debt.
It actually might be, because if you can borrow that money and then use it to negotiate the settlement of your credit card debts rather than paying off your credit cards directly, you're still getting cheaper money. And
there you go. So borrow $10,000 to get rid of $30,000 of credit card debt.
And
I like that idea.
And it's unsecured, which means that at the end of the day, if you have to file a bankruptcy, it goes away.
All right, nice job. From now on the Financial Crisis Talk Center segment of the update of the segment, you got 1/4 the amount of time, just to let you know. This is Law and Reality. We learn how to do this show as we do the show.
So we're learning the law.
It's a work in process.
We're tweaking this baby right now. You got that? All right, so when we come up to the next segment, we'll see how it goes. Okay, back to Ed. So, and the Supreme Court now. Here are the people that are running. Justice Brian Sahara. First of all, there's two big ballot positions. One is there are 5 candidates that are running for
the full term.
Full term, which is how many
8 years? 8 years.
That's a long term. That's a good.
You
gig.
can retire on that, Ken.
Yeah, I would be well into my Social Security at that point. You got 8 years.
Yes.
So who are the 5 candidates running? We got Brian Sahara.
Brian Zara. It's not Sahara. We're not in the desert. This is Zara.
Zara.
This
okay.
is Lebanese.
Sorry about that.
Okay, all right.
I'm sure he's sensitive about that.
Oh, yeah, he is,
well.
because yes, he's a flower child.
Well, we have Richard Bernstein. We'll come back to that.
Yep. Okay.
We have Circuit Court Judge James Robert Redford
from West Michigan.
Oh, he's not the Robert Redford from...
No, not the movie star.
Not the movie star, okay.
No.
We have Court of Appeals Judge Bill Murphy.
Correct, also from West Michigan. Appointed under Blanchard.
We have Doug Dern.
Doug Dern is an attorney.
Okay, and on the other 2 spots, which are filling Judge Viviano's spot.
Oh, not Viviano's spot. Remember when we had this Judge Hathaway step down for some personal problems. Justice Hathaway, Viviano was appointed by Snyder to fill her term.
Right.
And so the first election up, you have to basically run to fill the rest of the term, which he is.
So how long is the rest of that term?
2 years.
2 years, and there's 3 candidates running for that. David Viviano, who's currently
from Macomb County,
judge.
yes.
Deborah Thomas, Wayne County Circuit Judge.
Yes, 3rd Circuit.
And then we have Kerry Morgan.
Kerry Morgan, yes.
Now, we'll go through the candidates, but just to show you how little so many people know, I'll make myself the guinea pig rather than Brian for once. I'm going through these candidates, and first I Googled them to find out who's running. And Kerry Morgan, I said, I wonder what she looks like. So I Googled Carrie Morgan.
You thought she was transgender.
And I came up with this gorgeous blonde, and then who's a model. But Carrie Morgan is a guy, and he's a candidate for Michigan Supreme Court. So if you're watching the TV version, I'll have a picture of both of them up there on the screen. But the point is, I'm a lawyer. I think I follow the news on a regular basis. I try and stay very up on financial issues. The election is close, and I don't even know that much about any of the candidates to even know whether one who's running is male or female. That's a bad thing.
Well, what you find happening in judicial races, I mean, minimally, 70% to 80% of the voters, when they go to the ballot box, they do not know the names, even the names of the candidates running for Supreme Court. Okay, typically when you vote for Supreme Court, you're over 45. You're a homeowner.
I fit in that category.
Yeah, and that's who's voting because typically you've been reading the newspapers, you watch TV, you've been in the community, and that's why many justices are picked by their local communities.
Brian, David, are you guys 45 yet?
Yes.
I'll tell you, you're 47, aren't you?
And isn't the reality,
Well,
it's
you guys are almost 50.
It's a nonpartisan spot, but
it's only in
really,
name only is it nonpartisan.
But in
Yeah, it's
reality,
ridiculous.
you've got basically Republican-minded judiciary and Democrat-minded
Well, they're
judiciary.
not
I want
by
to
their
get
party.
guys. I want to get to the candidates though, so I don't mean to cut off.
But that's the foundation of any one of these candidates. They're coming
I
from a
completely
political
understand, but
party.
I want to talk about the candidates. So David Zahara, and then make
Zara.
His first name's
Moron.
not David. It's Brian. I'm making sure you guys are paying attention. Zara. He has right now 13% as of the last poll that I saw in terms
Which I
of,
just released yesterday. Yes,
in
at the
terms
time
of
the
his
conversation.
coming. He's got about 228 TV slots coming forward with a $254,000 budget. He was appointed to the court on January 14th. He has 12 years on the Court of Appeals, 4 years on Wayne County Circuit. He's a Wayne State University undergrad, and he's graduated from the Detroit School of Law, U of D. I think it's like, I want people to know who these are. And then if you're watching on the TV version, I'm also putting up each of the candidates' websites, because that's where I went through to get their information.
Let me tell you a story about him. I actually had when he got elected to the circuit court bench. This was years ago. I was his first motion on his first day as a judge, and I had a crazy civil stalking case. And he called the case, the first one, and I said, "We're here for a civil stalking matter." And he said, "You got to be kidding me!"
That was
he
his first case.
He says, "In my chambers."
Did you resolve the case?
Well, the important
did.
thing here, because
So
of
this
his
is on
background,
circuit court.
This is when he was a circuit court.
because of his background coming from the Wayne County area, even though she's a Democrat, Kim Worthy endorsed him 2 years ago, and he's been nominated by the Republican Party. So there's all this weird stuff going on.
So he's got some appeal on a broad basis.
Yes, he does.
All right, Richard Bernstein is running. Now, that's a name that there's name recognition.
Oh, it's high name recognition, but still, despite the fact that it's a Bernstein, we still find that nearly 36% of the voters don't even recognize the Bernstein name.
He's running at a 33% according to your recent
Yes.
poll. He's got more than 1,500 ads booked with a budget of $433,000. I'm getting these numbers from the Brennan Center for Justice. That says the question we come back from the break is, can you buy yourself a position?
It's pretty clear you
Well, that's
can.
what they're attempting to do, yes.
Is the debt piling up? Struggling to get by?
It's all about preserving future income. Bankruptcy is one option. When it's right, it's the least costly, most effective way to save your home, eliminate a second mortgage, and wipe out credit card debt. But you need to address the problem now.
We help people with bankruptcy. Call the experts.
Worth Ave Gross. Our firm will solve your problem.
888-235-HELP. That's 888-235-HELP.
Going from hourly to salary seemed like a good career move, but now you're working 60 hours a week instead of 40, and you aren't getting paid any of that extra time. You're stuck, right? Wrong. You can be on salary and still be entitled to overtime. If you've been wrongly denied such pay, you may be entitled to that and more. Gold Star Law is here to help you through your employment law problem, whatever it is.
Gold Star Law, protecting employees' rights. Call 1-800-WAGES-10 for a free consultation today.
Tax problems are major problems. Don't let the IRS levy your wages and seize your assets. There is a solution.
Worth Ave Gross. Our firm will solve your problem.
If you're behind on your taxes and owe money to the IRS, call Fav Gross.
We've been solving tax problems for 32 years. We stop wage levies, resolve unfiled returns, and obtain the best possible settlements.
Call Thav Gross today, 888-235-HELP.
Every family has the family meeting, and we all know what that means. Dad's got dementia. What are we going to do? What's the care plan that the family has in place? Usually they don't, or they struggle with a care plan. When you go home tonight and you talk to your tax person and you talk to your financial person, say, what's the plan that you have in place? And as soon as they don't give you an answer, give me a call, because I can do it for you.
Carrying too much debt? Resolve your debt. Call Thav Gross.
You don't need to be broke, and you don't need to hit rock bottom. If you have income and you're struggling with debt, dump it. Think about the next 10 or 20 years. If you do what the banks tell you, you'll have nothing to retire with. There is a solution.
Don't waste your future. Call Thav Gross. We're experts at eliminating credit card debt. 888-235-HELP. That's 888-235-HELP.
Welcome back to Law and Reality. Notice Brian grabbed his phone right away as we came back from the break, because he knows I was going to reach across and try and grab it. Couple quick announcements. We have a seminar coming up Wednesday, November 19th. Control Your Debt. This is a strategically placed seminar in view of the fact that we're moving into the holiday season, spending, ramping up the credit cards and everything else. This is a seminar to ground you to think in terms of what is your long-term play. Your best chance of saving money and having money for retirement is to minimize your debt. That's what the focus of the seminar is. If you want to sign up for it, go to thavgross.com, lawandreality.com, or you can always do it the old-fashioned way. Call 888-235-HELP, and then we'll sign you up that way. We have a couple free reports. Pat Simasco, who's been on the show on a very regular basis as our elder law expert, has put together a free guide to Social Security. You can download that report for free at ssifreereport.com. And all you do is you enter in your email, and then we send it to you as a PDF attachment. There's also a free report that I've done on foreclosure called Reg X, How to Save Your Home with Regulation X, The Hidden Secrets. You can get that report by going to regxhomesaver.com. You can also go to the Law and Reality website, and there'll be links there to get the free reports, but those links aren't actually up there today at this moment, but I'm going to put them up there. The Financial Crisis Talk Center Analyzer is still on the Law and Reality website as well. You go to that analyzer, you input your data, and it gives you your available options if you're dealing with financial issues. I want to thank our sponsors, Gold Star Law, Simasco Law, Trips Auto Shop and Collision Center in Jackson and Lansing, and U.S. Staffing in Jackson and Lansing, and also Thav Gross, who sponsors the show. All right, back to our candidates. If we run out of time, we're going to carry over to the next segment on the election anyway. But Richard Bernstein, so we went to the break and said he's spending a lot of money. He obviously has big name recognition from the Bernstein family law center. Every baseball game you see the Sam Bernstein name.
The Bernstein
up there.
family spends at least $6 million a year low side advertising statewide their corporation. And as you well know, many attorneys, their only business is what they get from Sam Bernstein. So he has a whole network out there in the state supporting his nomination.
All right. Well, in fairness to the young man who's running for office, just to give the background information that I got from other ones, fairness is his guiding principle according to his website. He was a 2009 leader in the law by Michigan Lawyers Weekly, which I always find they always advertise that a lot in their commercials as well. And I was happened to have been a leader in the law as well. I don't even remember. I think it was 2010. For some reason, we haven't worked that into our commercials, though. Maybe we should, because they obviously know a lot more about advertising than we do, considering their budget is 150 times greater. The law degree from Northwestern University, very good law school. Bachelor of Arts, summa cum laude, which means he's very bright, from University of Michigan.
Go Blue.
And bad football team, very good scholastic.
Well, the important
school.
thing is he did this while being blind.
Yes.
He did this while being blind, which is very, talk about blind justice, but this is very...
Speaks very highly
yes.
for him. And he's BernsteinforJustice.com. By Circuit Court Judge James Robert Redford. I love
Not the
name.
actor. Not the actor.
Not the actor. He's got 16% in the poll, so he's running second right now.
Yes, he is.
To Bernstein, and there's only 2 positions.
Correct.
Okay. He's got 218,000 as of available as of September 12th to spend, so he's not spending at nearly the rate of either Bernstein, and he's not even spending at as high a rate as Zara.
So we know Bernstein's on the Democratic end. Where's Redford?
Redford is the Republican nominee.
Okay.
What's important here on with the Redford's leading in the polls, but the Republicans want Zara to win because Zara is the incumbent, and so actually Redford is doing better than what he was supposed to do.
So he could be taking votes away from Zara, which is
Correct.
not good.
Yeah.
Not good.
He's got a business degree from John Carroll University, U of D, Detroit School of Law. He was commissioned as an ensign in the U.S. Naval Justice Advocates General Program, so he was a JAG attorney. Assistant U.S. Attorney in the Western District for Michigan. From 90 to 95, he was a federal prosecutor. JudgeRedford.com. I look at this because I like to see credentials.
Wait,
He's got an impressive
Yes,
resume.
he does.
Do you realize we have a Robert Redford and a Bill Murray?
That's right. Speaking
Bill
of Bill,
Murphy.
no, Bill Murphy.
I'm kidding.
It's close. All right. Court of
Man.
Appeals Judge Bill Murphy, he's running. He's only got 5% right now, according to your last poll ad.
Yes.
He's only got $37,000 of cash available for commercials, which is like almost nothing.
Correct.
He's was appointed to the court in 1988. He's from East Grand Rapids City Commission, a law clerk for the Michigan Court of Appeals, and he worked as an attorney in private practice for 17 years. Bachelor's degree from Michigan State University, law degree from my alma mater, Wayne State University.
According to Ed, if
Cum
he's
laude.
5%, he's got $37,000. He's got no chance. Let's
But
go to
he's
the
got.
next.
No, he doesn't.
but he's
Let's
got-
go to the next
I just
one.
want to say he's got good credentials.
He does. He was pointed.
ElectJudgeMurphy.com if you want to learn more
Now,
about
I
it.
just want to let you know the fact he's also right to life, and Blanchard, who was pro-choice, nominated him to the bench. Just want to let you know that.
Doug Zern, this is the last guy running for the major 8-year term. He's got 3% of the vote. He's a National Law Party nominee. He did not file a disclosure, so I don't know if
Go
he
to the
has
next
any
one.
money.
And he's not the Dern that killed John Wayne in one of the few times in
Is
a
that
movie.
Bruce Dern?
Yes.
Undergraduate degree from Oklahoma University in 1999. JD from Thomas Cooley. Does not have his own webpage, but has a Facebook page, facebook.com vote Dern, which has 70 likes. So he's got at least 70 votes in the bag.
Yep.
I don't think we're going to see
Well,
him
what
on
if
the
somebody
Supreme
liked
Court.
it 4 times? With 3 different devices?
You can't do that. You have to have 3 different names.
Yeah.
You're not really Facebook in tune because we still haven't gotten you on there yet. We're working on that.
Yeah, there's a reason for that. All right, Viviano for the 2-year spot.
Viviano, we're going to have to probably cover in the next segment, but we can start with him. He's running for one of
The partial term.
partial terms, so it's
Only one position will be elected out of
and
that.
he's sitting there right now in that term.
That's correct.
In that position.
He's
Now,
got to
remember-
be the front runner.
Now we got So what's important to know, in fact, he's the gentleman who initiated the whole thing on the IBM tax freedom. You know, they reward IBM with the money. He's also the one that supported. If you're a kid, you go to jail for life.
You know what? We're going to come back to that issue because I'm not familiar with it, Ed, but it's going to come over into the next segment of Law and Reality, which if it's on the radio, the next segment's after the break. But if you're watching us on TV 20 in Detroit, the next segment is next week. We'll be back with the next segment of Law and Reality.